It's showtime. Practical AI, episode 19. I screwed up last week and said 17. It was really 18. We got to give ourselves credit where credit is due. But here we go.
Hello.
We've got a great show for you today. We're going to look at something that I am becoming increasingly interested in that goes against the grain a little bit, but it's vibe designing. And Olga has been my inspiration for this. Well-renowned designer Olga has gotten me into vibe designing. So we're going to look at that today. I'm excited about that. But our big treat for the day is, drumroll please, take it away.
Well, there's a lot of victories. Which one do you want me to focus on?
Well, maybe that deep dive.
Yeah. So today we're going to obviously talk about news, what's the latest and the greatest in AI world. We scan through all kinds of newsletters, all kinds of news, all kinds of things. So we're going to talk briefly about that. Not too much, because I really want to bring some practical applications for you guys. So we will be diving deep into a company called Notion. They were on the list of 50 AI companies that real companies are spending money on. So we're going to figure out how they actually make money, but more importantly, what is their model, and how do they make money in the AI world, and what can you learn from that so you can go and not make the mistakes that they have made and kind of learn from them. We will also talk about, we'll be doing some demos today, so at least 2. And another thing I want to start doing is kind of looking at all the LLMs every week and see, how do we even rate them? Like, who is the best, who's not the best, and have an interesting, spicy thing to look at. I literally asked all of my AIs that I work with, who are they ranking as top 5? And I have a very interesting revelations. Who is kind of, yeah, we'll talk about that.
I like this. This came up last night. I was playing my Disc Golf Valley iOS game that I play every night before bed, and there's ads on it. And one of the ads was from Kalshi, which you may have seen some Kalshi stuff. It's like betting markets for everything.
Yeah.
This is like a thing. So they have these AI commercials that they made. They're totally AI. I thought about bringing it up for the show. It's total slop commercials. But in these commercials, they show people betting like these fake scenarios. And one of them was, what will be the leading AI at the end of 2025? And I'm thinking, well, how the hell do you determine what the leading AI is? Is it number of users? Is it vibe? What is it?
I will talk about that. I talked to Claude, because Claude so far has been my most trusted AI, because I kind of feel like it cares, but it doesn't care. So it's like probably has the least of the ego out of all AIs I talk to.
I agree with that. It's weird, right? I feel like it's not hypey.
I don't, but I'm curious. What do the listeners think about that? Like, I'm really curious about it. So do you want to start with the deep dive? Do you want to start with the demo? Where do you want to go, Chris?
I think we should kick it off with the demo.
Okay. So last week, let's do that. So last week, what we did is, so the week before, I took my website, revenuehire.com. It's a WordPress pure marketing site. There's really, it's almost embarrassing to look at it, but I took that and I used Gemini 3, the newest model, to do the vibe. What is it? The demo, like the
vibe designing.
Web designed it. So we looked at it, we critiqued it. It was fun. And then I wanted to do the same thing with new Claude's Opus 4.5 that they came up. And last week I complained because it burned through all my tokens and burned my limit, and I couldn't get the result. And so so it wasn't ready for the live. But afterwards, it took me probably another like half of my credits to finish that. So I do have the finished version to look at so we can compare. So with my brains of the operation, Chris, let's look at the 2 again. So do you want to pull up my website first to show what it looks like?
Yeah, I'll pull up Revenue Hire. We'll start with the first. I could not pull up the Gemini version.
Yeah, I have.
I'll have to do that. But hang on, let's do this real quick. Dun, 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 dun.
So this
here's her basic WordPress website as it is right now. It runs on the Focus theme. It's very simple. There's no modifications. It's just bare bones.
It's nothing to write home about. However, though, I do have a quick little announcement to make. This week, I had a call that was booked by a prospect that when I got on the phone with them, they said that they found me on ChatGPT. So even though my website is this clunky looking thing, it was still foundable in ChatGPT based on the terms that they're looking for. This was my first time in 13
It showed up
years.
first. It was the first recommendation.
First recommendation, I got recommended. And after like 13 years in business, I've never really had anybody just came randomly through my website. It's usually referrals or LinkedIn or other things. But this time it was very fascinating. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm somehow ranked in ChatGPT. And, this guy called me and we had a conversation, and it was, first call. But I want to dig into that and figure out, how do I get more of that? But probably once I move my site to page motor, we'll talk about that. Anyway, so this is my existing site. This was Gemini's. Let me pull this up. This was the Gemini. Can you see this?
There it is. Okay, yeah, make it full screen there.
Yeah, so this is a Gemini site, just for those who didn't see this. So the Gemini did this in the matter of a couple of minutes, okay? I used a prompt that was pretty lengthy that I created using, I believe it was ChatGPT. I said, I'm looking to create a site. This is my company. This is what we do. I gave it some context, and I asked to give me a prompt to create a site. And this is what it did. So for the same prompt, I used the same prompt for Gemini 3.0 as I used for Claude. So this is what it looks like, okay? So pretty slick looking. Again, this is, it's not live. It's just the vibe coded one, but it gave me ideas. It also gave me some AI tools that I don't currently have on my website, but it's just an idea to like, how do I engage my users on the site? Which is actually a cool thing. If you have a business with a site, you can ask AI to give you some AI enhanced tools to use on your site. And it kind of accumulates all the knowledge it has about your industry, what you do, and then it sort of gives you ideas that you can have on your site for your users. So I would give it, I don't know, 4 out of 5 of me like using this.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
really
pretty
love
good.
like it's polished. It's much better looking than my current site. I like that it's all in one place. It has all the testimonials. I mean, again, this is real information, real things, and now I can use this as an inspiration for my new site that we're working on with Chris on getting to page motor. So pretty good. Don't like the pictures. I'm not sure why I pulled the pictures, but I'm sure if I worked with this, we can figure this out.
They weren't relevant, but Gemini has some basic bag of tricks of design elements that it pulls from, and it puts them together pretty well. I think this is contextually pretty nice.
So that was Gemini. Do you have any?
Eisenberg on Greg's show, he was like, "This is the best vibe designing I've seen," and at that point, I agreed. But then we looked at Claude. Hold the phone.
So here is Claude. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So this is Claude's site. Right away, I love, again, this took Claude, 150% of my credits, I guess, if you say that way. And it probably took about an hour and 20 minutes to create this, compared to Gemini, a couple minutes. The same prompt, I didn't change a single word. They literally had the same information to work with. So from right away, what I like about this site is a lot cleaner. I like that it kind of gives the proof of my business right here. So it's all in one place. Yes, I'm impressive, 12 years in business. We've served so many clients. I think the actual first page is, I would give 5 out of 5. I like it a lot. Then I also like that it doesn't have any pictures. I'm not a big picture person, but it kind of goes into the story, talks about what, again, I didn't do any of this copy right here. This is mine. This is not mine. It kind of did all of this by itself. It kind of talked about, what we do, about my method, yada, yada. But this is the cool thing. Remember, it had the same prompt. So it gave me 3 AI enhanced tools for my visitors on my site. And I am totally stealing this. Okay. So again, this is just ideas for me that I didn't even think about. But how cool would it be when my users come to my site and they can do sales role matcher, not sure what sales role you need, fill it out, hiring readiness quiz, are you even ready to hire a salesperson? And then salary benchmarker, like you can kind of do your math over here. I actually play with this and it actually works. I don't know. Do you want me to do this right now?
Or rip one real quick just so we can see it.
So let's say it's account executive, years of experience, 3 to 5. It gives, I didn't do any of this. This is all by itself. Tier 1, which it's true, San Francisco, New York. Let's look at Austin since we're here. Get an estimate. Again, look how cool this is.
That was immediate.
Immediate. I mean, OTE,
What?
88 to 132. I don't know how, it uses some kind of data. We're going to have to play with what it's coming from. But let's say if I say it's San Francisco, we're going a little bit higher there, right?
Yep.
So again, this is an average. So this is pretty cool, I thought, as some vibing ideas. And then it kind of talks more about how amazing we are, what our clients say, and kind of book the call and all that stuff. So when we work on my page motor side, I would be using Claude as more or less what I want it to feel like, look like, the colors, the vibe, the whole thing.
So let me click over real quick. I just want to highlight some things for people. So let me do this, do this.
Yeah, this is me as a human, what I like. Now, you tell me as a technical brains of this operation, what do you think about
Here we go. All right. So the things that stick out to me. So Olga mentioned how they don't use images. Images are like a lazy way to create maybe some visual excitement, but it's not always relevant. So I have a problem with the use of too many images in design. Images are weighty in terms of page load. So if you can avoid using an image, you should. But the question is, how do you create visual interest without an image? Claude does an amazing job of using two techniques. One is contrast, and the other one is slight movement and an additional layer of color. And it does it really competently. Like you would be very pleased if you hired a designer who gave you a comp like this. So we'll just run through a little bit of it real quick. We've got a little bit of animation on these elements. The book a call button pops up. See how it works? Lights up. It's an animated light up. It has a little bit of time there. And we got, nice little visual call outs, no image, but this is germane, relevant information here presented in a way that's kind of exciting. The typography is very competent as well. The fonts are nice, but so this is just a basic area. I like the way this is done, like even with just a little X icons there and like the quote. When we get down here, we get to the real magic. The mouse hover behaviors cause these cards to pop. We've got a basic icon at the top of them to create visual interest. You got this little border effect. It's animated. Just a little bit of motion. Motion in a UI is good. I don't want to be seen as like a codger who's totally against that. But, when it's used with restraint and like in a tasteful way, it's good. If it's like a bunch of items moving around in the background, it's confusing and stupid. So this is like creates interest and excitement when the user does the movement. That's good. It's like a feedback system. So we got that again here. We got these little bitty mini cards popping and highlighting on hover. That's great. This is pretty interesting. It describes Olga's done-for-you recruiting pipeline. And you would think something like this would be represented with an image of some sort or some sort of visual imagery thing. And it's created, Claude has created that with design using these little icons and this color bar, which again, it showed up here. So it's like a repeated element. They inverted it from green to orange. And now it's orange to green down here, but it progresses. And this is a progression. The pipeline is a progression. So I just like that. Like you could argue with like the way this is done, or maybe this spacing should be a little different. Maybe not touching the line. But this is an interesting way of using non-images to create imagery and a sense of progression through the design. I think that's really good. I'm just saying, like from an ideas perspective, this execution is really well done. And then we got these AI-powered hiring tools. These are also cards. I just think this is tasteful. It's restrained. Looks good. Says AI-powered, giving the user a little bit of a cue about what is happening. The contrast within these forms is masterful. So you got a dark topper, which really catches your attention. We've got gray text here, but then the actual elements you interact with are black text, and they really pop if you're looking at this page. So that's just super, super good. And then the buttons, they've got a slight gradient on the buttons. They've also got a gradient up here. on actually sell. It's subtle, but it's like these little bitty treatments that make you think that it's professionally done. So I am impressed. We got more cards down here. Again, subtle icon usage, probably SVG elements. I haven't looked. This isn't actually a thing that Google did. They always were putting like a little call out above a header, like what you get, what you can expect, whatever. So that's interesting that was repeated here in Claude. But then, again, tasteful use of cards, a little bit of animated behavior on mouse over. Then we've got a social proof section, more cards, with some resources and stuff. This is really good. We got a call to action. Again, subtle gradient in the background. There's a glow around the button. Looks exciting. Then we got a contact form embedded in here. Just saying, like this whole thing.
I wanted. And
Yeah.
so I know you are working on having a way to translate the vibe coding into the actual real environment.
So I dove into Gemini. Gemini's results use a very complicated HTML structure that is littered with Tailwind CSS classes and also some classes that work with the React framework to produce motion and interactive stuff in the UI. I haven't looked at Claude's output yet in detail, but the bottom line is all these tools, and there's a news item we'll get to later in the show that Anthropic acquired a big JavaScript framework that kind of not does exactly this, but all this stuff that's happening points in the direction of this is the kind of output the AIs are going to be doing. If people are going to be building their comps with AI, and everyone is going to after this, like it's clear that this is the way to do it. You need a way to use this. Because right out of the box, what it gives you is not really usable for a website. It wouldn't really be the environment that would be easiest for you to manage over time. The question is, how do we use this? How do we take this and use it? And so I am now building a way for PageMotor to be able to kind of accept this output or recreate this output identically to use this kind of stuff in PageMotor.
So it's no longer vibe coding; it will be real output that I can use.
I mean, I want to vibe code it and say, hey, translate this to PageMotor, boom, done.
So I'm walking my statement from last week that I wasn't impressed with Claude. Claude just needed more time. Okay, so Claude 4.5, Opus 4.5 for me was a winner compared to Gemini 3.0.
So it's Opus. It's important. That's the most expensive model.
Yes.
But here's the thing. We talk about this in different contexts forever. Quality costs more.
For sure. So I think, honestly, if those of you who are watching right now and you're like either building a site or you're thinking about building a site, whatever, like try both and see which one you like. Because obviously it's like, what do you have to lose? You'll get some good ideas. Do you have anything else to say on this before I move on?
No, I just think that the future of design and using design runs through these avenues, and you better pay attention.
Yeah.
I mean, there's parts about that I don't like, but I have to be honest with myself and be real and say, like, this is the way people are going to want to be doing it.
Yep. So that's the part about that. So this is, you heard it here first. And I would love to hear what you guys think and which one are you using, what do you like and what do you don't like, because this is kind of, this was a very fun project to work on. Moving on, shall we let's do a couple news right quick. We're going to sprinkle them in.
Yep.
So the first kind of piece of the news this week comes from China. They, what's the company name?
Alibaba
released their glass. Did you rearrange the whole thing?
No. It's down here. I don't know, page. Can't tell what page I'm on.
You was on the top. Okay. Anyway, so if you have it open, you can go because I cannot find it.
All right. So Alibaba, which every time I hear that, I think of the movie Aladdin. It's so annoying. Alibaba's in China though. Okay. So Alibaba, so back up. Wearables. I feel like every tech company has been experimenting with wearables for like over a decade. I think Google introduced its smart glasses at South by Southwest in like 2010, something like that. So this has been going on like 15 years. Everybody's been trying these wearables. Every one of these initiatives has fallen flat on its face. The market like gets interested for 5 minutes and then totally rejects it for whatever reason. It's like dorky. It's too bulky. It doesn't offer that much benefit, whatever. The last one was the Apple Vision Pro, which had like 1 week of good sales and then completely disappeared off the planet. And now Alibaba back trying wearables again. They've got smart glasses. But
Yeah,
they've
this is what it looks like.
okay, yeah, let's see an image. Oh, there we go.
AI smart glasses of the
Yeah.
year. And no, this is not from Meta or Apple. This is from Alibaba. Alibaba is a Chinese tech giant that's been making major AI moves recently, challenging OpenAI, Google, and Meta with their groundbreaking Quark AI glasses. These glasses represent Alibaba's peak flagship hardware.
So this is just, I think, cool looking glasses, and basically you have two options. One, they can just talk to your ear, and then the other, so less expensive, more expensive. You see how there's this text in green over here? Like you literally just see that on your in your glasses.
Yeah, let me explain this. So their lower price one is $269. It's just like, you got a Chat GPT assistant. To me, that's a zero. Their higher price one is $529, like almost twice as much. But the lenses are little OLED screens. Okay, so it can like overlay information, which you're seeing in that picture there. So it can do real-time translation.
Yep.
Like if you're speaking a different language from somebody, it can do translation. You can read what what they've said. I don't know how it would work with you talking back to them, but it also does object recognition like Terminator. So you like scan the environment. It can tell you like what building you're looking at, for example. Maybe you can ask questions about it, like how tall is it or something like that. So pretty interesting tech.
I mean, I think the future of vlogging is going to be different because you can literally look. He's like looking at it. You can record anything you want. I mean, I don't know how that's going to be for privacy because you're literally walking around recording things as you're looking at it. You can ask whatever somebody's wearing and check on that. Like, I mean, it's just the beginning, right? So the translation is interesting. So like, I would love these glasses if I go somewhere where I don't understand the language.
Right,
So
that seems
it
useful.
It will be kind of translating automatically. So cool thing. Just I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the wearable is happening, and you don't have to wear some silly looking, whatever headset that costs $5,000 and you look like you're an alien or something. So this is literally something I can totally wear see myself wearing.
Do you remember a few weeks ago we covered, I thought it was Gemini. They said that we're going to have some new feature where you can like look at stuff and ask questions about it, and the AI will be able to tell you about it. Like anything.
Yes, exactly.
I don't remember exactly what that was. I'm pretty sure it was Gemini though.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, if you combine this type of tech with that type of AI real world awareness, like now you're onto something.
Right.
Because you can pretty much add, like, I imagine our son walking around with this, he would ask questions all day and just be speed running reality with this thing. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, it's only in China right now. It's going to be in America, anytime soon, I guess. But object recognition, real translation happening. There's dual cameras, hands-free video. It's already shipping in China, so it's only a matter of time before it's here. And I'm excited. I'm excited to try it out.
I think wearables are
wrong, but
call me when they get retina inserts and I can see Terminator output on my eyes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a cool piece of news that I thought. It's not just some hypothetical AI. It's literally you can put it on, look cool, and go explore the world.
Terminator's real.
Exactly. Second piece of the news is that this week, I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know if it's a chance of some sort, but OpenAI and Google cut their free video and image generation in half overnight. So we're talking about 88% capacity drop. So it's not just a feature tweak, both of them kind of resetting their business model. And if you're a creator running on free tier, you have maybe a week before this becomes your new reality. So OpenAI Sora went from 50 videos a day free down to 6, and that's it. And Google Nano went from 5 to 10 images to 2 images. So you're looking at 8 generation per day from the big labs.
2 images is brutal.
Yeah, you still get Runway Gen 4, gives you 125 seconds free monthly, and Kling gives you some 10 to 15 videos daily. So there's still like other models that are open, but the big guys are tight. Daddy's home. They're tightening it up, and I think they're just trying. Some people are saying it's some shortage of the GPU, whatever, the power, or they're just figuring out that they're done funding the playground for adults of generating those videos that are not really going anywhere. So
Yeah,
you've tried it for free and the trap now is closed.
I'm going to be grandpa here, but this is actually good. Nobody needs a bunch of AI slop videos. The
No.
ones that should be made, people are going to be paying to produce. I'm aware of at least 2 that exist on X as like weeklies, or they're not really weekly. It's like whenever they publish them, that are good. And they're both paying, premiums to do the, high level publishing or whatever. They need premium subscriptions to do it. Those shows should exist. The slop should not. So
yeah. And then the last kind of fun piece of news, I mean, there's a couple more, but this one I thought that was funny. ChatGPT, Sam Altman sent an internal memo this week declaring code red at OpenAI. And, companies do this all the time, right? Because like we would talk about how Gemini is the top this week and Claude is the next week and ChatGPT, they haven't really been in the news in a couple of weeks. So I have a feeling they're panicking over there. So he sent out this code red alert, and, Google is catching up. So for the first time since ChatGPT launched, OpenAI is the one kind of playing defense. So apparently 3 years ago, which is eternity in AI world, Google declared code red in response to ChatGPT. Well, now the roles have flipped. Gemini 3 is winning on benchmarks. Anthropic's Claude is crashing in coding. And Altman's memo basically said, we need to move faster. They're fast tracking a model called Garlic, potentially GPT 5.2 or 5.5, delaying everything else, ads, AI agents, personal assistants, all paused, just ChatGPT improvements. Can you put that meme I made from the slides?
I'm not sure the model matters that much. I think that's crazy, but I'm putting it up.
Yeah. So I did this. I love my image generation on this, but the mode isn't as wide as they thought. So Gemini is like looking behind, and then go to the next one. So back to the second spot. So the Garlic is the secret name for their project.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
And so this is OpenAI's new code red strategy is, they're trying to scare Gemini with their Garlic. That's literally what they're calling the project. So that is interesting. So ChatGPT is a little bit panicking. I guess it makes sense. Gemini is, I think they're up to 600 something users, 600 million users. Gemini is a really good tool. I mean, their new 3.0, whatever. I am very happy with how it's performing. 650 million in 3 months. That's what they jumped to. So ChatGPT is still leading with 800 million users, but I've seen some data that their actual users are going down. I think this week it was like 5%. So they're panicking, which makes sense. Anyway, do you have anything else to say on this?
I mean, I just think that Sam Altman's hung up on the AGI thing, and I think that's why he's pushing the model. And I don't think the model matters.
Why not?
I think the models we already have are capable of things that we are not even close to unlocking. And again, I've said this before, that AI doing things is better than whatever the models kind of spit out. Obviously, if the model is more enhanced, it can do more things theoretically. But like, imagine a big circle of potential output. Like, how much of that circle are we filling up already? Probably only a small fraction.
Right.
So we haven't even captured everything we already have. So why are we expanding the model more if we're just racing to even capture what we've already got? And then I also had another thought this week that even better than AI doing is AI building.
Right.
And not just building, like you could say that the design that we showed you from Claude is AI building, and I would agree to some extent, but it's not building completely because you can't use it.
Right.
It's just it's like a, showing you a demo. It's a comp, but it's not the real thing yet. But I want AI building the real thing. Let me focus on that. To me, that's far more valuable than this race for the models, which seems like a vanity thing. I think it's misguided.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll see what happens, but they have a lot of burn. They're burning a lot of money, so they're catching up, and doesn't sound very pleasant there right now. So I actually want to move to the next demo that I want to sprinkle throughout their live, so that way it's more interesting. So I started doing this. How would you call them? Sketch?
These are marker board sketches.
sketch note thingy. I
Yeah.
think I saw it probably last week somewhere. Somebody posted, and I was like, I don't know about you, but whenever I see something like this visually with not a lot of text, my brain kind of wants to go and look like, what is this about? Right. And so I wish I remembered where I saw it so I can give them some credit. But this was literally looking like this. And I was like, so whenever I see something I like, here's what I usually do. I screenshot it and then I ask a couple of my AIs to reverse engineer the process. And then once I created one for one of our episodes and I posted it up, somebody asked that they will be really interested to see the demo of how I did it. And I figured maybe some other people are also interested. So think if you are trying to stand out in the sea of information with the written information, visuals, whatever, what a cool way to present something like this that actually looks like I drew with my hand, which I didn't. So so I don't know. I just wanted to kind of walk through and show how did I create this? I created this as a gem in Gemini. All that means is that once I figure out the instructions on how to make this, now I have instructions uploaded in the gem, which is Gemini's like a project.
Skill project, whatever.
Skill project is like the way, all you do now is like I just have to put a link to the YouTube episode I want to do it with, or the transcript, copy and paste the transcript, and then it knows what to do. So I figured I will show you guys how I did this. And hopefully it's interesting. And if it's not interesting, let me know and I will stop doing this.
No, if I can make this, it's cool.
Yeah. So so the first thing I did, I screenshot and I asked my AI, like reverse engineer that. And you can do this with any video you watched, or maybe you have some big document that's boring and you're trying to make it visual and interesting for presentation or to get some feedback and whatnot. And the first thing that AI told me that it needed to summarize it and present me with the key takeaways from that episode, right? Kind of like what it has here, like key themes. So first, let me go to my, there I am. Okay, can you see this?
Yep.
All right, so this is my Gemini, and this is my gems. So currently I've got 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what my gem looks like on the back end. So all of these instructions right here, I literally, once I've done the first one to the point that I liked it, once I reversed engineered it using AI, then I said, create instructions so you can do this over and over and over. All right. So you just create a gem, call it whatever you want, turn podcast episodes into structured summaries and hand-drawn whiteboard sketch notes. And here's the instructions. They're pretty lengthy, but the cool thing is that I didn't have to write it. AI wrote it. And
which AI wrote it? Did you use ChatGPT or did you use this?
No, I used Gemini for this because
so you had like a separate window and you said figure out the instructions.
Yeah, exactly. I started chat and I screenshotted the picture and I said, how would you create something like this? And it gave me instructions. And I started using those instructions until I got to the place that I liked it with prompting. And then once I got the output that I wanted, I said, create instructions for my gem. And it created instructions. So now I've generated 3 or 4 of those, and they all look pretty consistent. So what I asked is that there's step 1, which is the summary, right? You can look at this here. Can you see this?
Yeah.
So it kind of, it says, analyze the content, if YouTube link is provided, central theme, 1 short sentence. So again, this is all the prompts, the instructions from there. So, and then step 2, it wouldn't move to step 2 until I approve, and I'll show you how I generated the actual sketch note. I just wanted to show you the behind the scene of what that actually looks like. So step 2 is the image generation. And here, it actually gives the instructions. When the user confirms they're ready, so I have to approve what the image is going to have, because I figured out it's a lot easier to approve that first And whoever wants it, let me know. I'm happy to send these instructions. And once I approve it, then it creates the visual, because it's a lot easier to correct the text before the image is created than then try to figure out how to correct the image.
This is so good. I've been messing with prompts for the last couple of weeks with trying to generate stuff in PageMotor, and I have run into so many little pitfalls. I can see little details that this prompt includes that would help avoid some of those things. Like, it seems so simple, and the fact that you're using the AI to do it is such a cheat code. Like, people need to be doing this because the AI knows the little catch points that will happen, and it uses specific language. I noticed up at the end of section 1, it said use available tools to browse the YouTube thing and pull the transcript.
Yeah.
It's very important language. The use of the word tools is not an accident. These AIs, these models have tools. That's how they navigate the world, that they use to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so specific prompting that says, hey, do this, is actually necessary to get the precise results you want. So this is actually very sophisticated and very cool.
I literally don't use my brain. I only use my brain for things actually. When I use my brain for this thing, I was like, this is going to make better instructions anyway. So execution rule, it has the execution rule, what the output should look like, because all three of them now look the same. And then it's specifically wait for specific confirmation before moving to the image generation. So
even the commands are the things it responds to. Like, there's so much gold in here.
And technically, if I want to be an A+ student, I could put the files from everything I generated here for the reference. Maybe I'll do that later down the road. But now I actually want to I want to show you like what
let's see some results.
Yes, so this is the one that I use for this segment. So it's a new one. I haven't posted it on X yet. But literally, I said, ready? So I'm kind of engaging them because the gem is already created, right? And it goes, I'm ready. Provide the YouTube or transcript. I put the transcript, right? Then it's thinking, and then it gives me the summary. I reviewed it, and I was like, I like this. Basically, whatever it tells me here, this is what the image is going to have. So it kind of gives me some bullet points of what it thinks are the key themes. I mean, that's an hour and a half of our episodes are long, right? And so it kind of gives all this, remember, this is all coming from the instructions, the highlights, the outlook. I reviewed it, and it asked me, are you ready to generate? And in this case, I liked it, so I didn't have any tweaks. And then I said, create a visual sketch note. And it did it. I mean,
that's super good. This is great.
Literally magic. So this is how you create anything you like online. Like in this case, I just like these things that to me, they're so geekily exciting visually, because you can, what is this? What is cursor economics trap? There's a Titanic sinking. Like all these images, it did all by itself. I
love the race. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah. And then it even has your nanny state filter in there.
Yep. I saw it.
Talk about Chinese models don't have that, and United States models have that. So anyway, hopefully this was fun and interesting, but this is, you can steal mine. I'm happy to share my prompt if you guys want it, or create your own. And pretty much at this point, if I have to do anything more than once, I'm creating either a gem, I'm creating a project, or I'm creating a skill if it's in Claude. So that way I don't have to tell the same instructions over and over, but I'm just building on the instructions that I had.
Yeah. I want to give the audience a little tip here. So we hear about vibe coding all the time. Vibe designing is superior, at least for now. And here's why. This is an instance of vibe designing. She has created this image, and you can see the image. Images are interesting because they're really two-dimensional, not just in reality, but like in the way you use them. You just look at it, and that's it. You don't have to use it. You don't have to click on it. You know, it doesn't, you don't have to enter data, and it doesn't do different things like software does. Software is three-dimensional by comparison. So vibe coding is attempting to do something that's three-dimensional, and actually more dimensional than that because of various other complications, performance, servers, all this other crap you have to consider. Vibe coding is hard. So all this hype around vibe coding is super misplaced. It is very stupid. People who are like really, really up on that are chasing hype and attention, but they're not really serious, practical people. But vibe designing is the answer right now, guys. I think what Olga's showing is like the playbook to be squeezing the most out of AI, to be impressing people. Like if you're in a company and producing visuals for meetings or any sort of analysis or decision making, strategic stuff, like this is gold. My
Well,
goodness.
it's kind of like having a picture book versus the textbook. When you're, I just think when there's so much text out there and everything feels like not a banana generated it, like a visuals, this is so refreshing to have something that's actually smart. But maybe it's just me being a nerd about this. To me, this is so like I actually look, I'm like, what does this mean? Infrastructure, energy worse? Like I like how it created the visual of what's actually happening in the world, obviously based on our podcast. But you can stand out for like, if I was actually thinking to do something like that for Joe Rogan's podcast and like create this kind of visual and like tag him if I wanted to, if I had time to do that. Like, that would be so
that would
cool.
actually work for attention.
Because it's a valuable thing for them, and most people look at it, it's like, oh, it's so complicated. It's not complicated at all. I just showed you how you can reverse and engineer anything you want. So, and I'm actually thinking to do this for my sales stuff, because I do have a sales podcast where I interview salespeople who can sell and kind of demonstrate visually, because we are visual people. Like, we have eyes for a reason. So this is good stuff, I thought. You can use other people's information to create valuable insight like that if you don't have something of your own.
It's amazing. I'm totally sold. AI has made you a better designer than me. Never thought we'd see that day. So,
I love playing with it. It's a lot of fun and it's actually useful. All right, moving on. Let us know if you want more of this kind of things, because this is also helpful. I mean, to me, this is practical AI at its best. I used obviously Nana Banana Gemini for all of this. So moving on, let's talk about
let's do Notion.
Let's do actually very quick IPO thing. That's like the last piece of news, and then we can do Notion. So very quick. Can you put the my visual for this, please?
Is it a slide? Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah. So last week, the Financial Times reported that Anthropic is laying groundwork to go public as early as 2026. They hired Wilson Sonsini, the law firm that took Google and LinkedIn public. They brought in Krishna Rao, the CFO who helped take Airbnb public. Investors are basically pushing them out the door because they want Anthropic to beat OpenAI to market. That's the gossip. But here's kind of, Anthropic is quietly preparing. Sam Altman just declared code red at OpenAI. Internal memo leaked. Critical time for ChatGPT, because they think Gemini is winning right now. I don't know how much drama that is. Anthropic is crushing on coding. So they're fast tracking a model called Garlic, which we talked about it, delaying everything else. I just don't think that's a very good time for them to go public, but for OpenAI. So Anthropic, here's cool, mind-blowing. Anthropic has 10 billion in revenue right now. They're projecting 26 billion in 2026. OpenAI has 12.7 billion. They're not that much bigger. And the projected revenue may be 20 billion by 2026. It's actually less than Anthropic. But they are talking about opening the IPO with like $1 trillion valuation, which is insane. They're losing money. OpenAI is losing money, about projecting 74 billion in 2028. So I know it's a lot of numbers, but here's what caught my attention. Now they're rushing to IPO, both of them. I like this image for many reasons, because Anthropic is this like cool, optimized car, right? Like
it's Formula One car.
It's doing everything right. It's focused. Execution is flawless. The product makes sense. Enterprise focused, which obviously investors love that. Look at OpenAI. I mean, I know Gemini generated this picture, but they are literally like, they're burning cash from, you can see on the
servers are on fire.
I mean, it's on fire, and they're trying to beat Anthropic.
I think it's hilarious. It's a hippie van heading to Burning Man.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I hope it works out for them, but I just never know, like, what what are they trying to do at this point, right?
I
Like,
just see nothing from OpenAI. I mean, just nothing.
who are they? So this is what we're
I
watching.
do think the GPTs are good though.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's one. They just need to like. I don't understand how they just keep on getting all these expenses and money and trying to get big so fast while not figuring out like what are they actually doing.
I was laughing because reading that other news item about Sam Altman calling the code red. If you look at their stuff since September, they've debuted all this new random stuff.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're going to do all this random stuff to try and capture whatever, and then you're going to call code red and say you got to go hard on the model?
Well,
no clue what's going on with leadership.
But here's the disconnect. So Anthropic is sitting at 300 billion valuation on a 10 billion run rate. That's super. That's 30 times revenue. It's super high. OpenAI is sitting between 500 billion and 1 trillion on 20 billion in revenue. That's like 25 to 50 times. I don't know much about IPOing, but why is OpenAI is even, I don't even know what they're going to do.
It's hopium. It's all hopium.
We'll see, because they are spending money like they are a 5-year-old with a credit card. I don't know. So, we will find out. Yeah.
I've got the notion that we need to move on.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do Notion. So let's go to so this is, I actually want to show you guys this. So we've been talking about the startups where AI startups where companies spend money on AI. And we're playing a little bingo game here. Every week we pick a company and we do a deep dive on their business model, how they make money, and how do they actually generate revenue? But then more importantly, are they profitable, not profitable? How do they make money in the time of AI? Because there's so much that we're still trying to figure out in terms of pricing. Is it SaaS pricing? Is it outcome-based pricing? Is it something completely different? Is it token-based pricing? There's so many different things and ideas. And as we are covering them up, so far we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 companies. So today we're adding Notion to the table. I didn't know much about Notion. I'm honestly still confused about them and why they're so popular. But hey, they are making a ton of money. So we're going to cover them and we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, go to the next slide. This is what Gemini asked me yesterday, if I wanted to beautify my PowerPoint, Google Slides. And I said, well, why not? So it beautified it. So before and after, you can see how my my little
wait, let's go back. I think I like your orange version, honestly.
My clumsy version, and this is my I'm gonna go to corporate with this presentation version that it did it for me. So I thought that was fun to I was like, I'll take it. What do you think? I mean, it's cuter.
I like the cartoony marker outlines of the old one.
I mean, it's just me playing with it. Anyway,
it's more visually exciting.
Let's talk about Notion. So what do you know about Notion?
I just know that it gets referenced a lot on social media by people in companies and startups.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it. I always see it getting mentioned by techie types. I've never used it. I don't see why I would, but I don't use anything.
So imagine your startup burning $50,000 per month on 6 different tools: Google Drive for docs, Asana for projects, Airtable for databases, Confluence for wikis, Slack for tribal knowledge, ChatGPT for AI assistants. It's a lot of tools, which is true. There's a lot of tools out there that we have to use all the time. Your team wastes 10 hours weekly searching for information across these silos. That's roughly $10,000 in annual salary burn just on context switching, right? And we know multitasking is a myth, so it does cost money to find things between different tools and all of that. So what Notion does is they turn this chaos into $500 million in annual recurring revenue as of September 2025. And that's 67% growth from $300 million the year before. So they're at about 1,200 employees at this point.
No, that's Ramps.
Oh.
It's like a company that helped them get huge that everybody in Silicon Valley looks at. So Ramp handles financials and company credit cards and expenses and stuff like that for big organizations. So everybody in tech is now using Ramp, and Ramp went all in with Notion to consolidate their entire company brain into one searchable workspace.
True. Yep, you're right.
It combines your Slacks, it combines your database stuff that you have, Asana project management, everything gets stuck into one place. You can search the whole thing and find the information you need in one place rather than looking through this fractured landscape of multiple entities.
And it's not AI bolted to it. It's literally they AI'd it, AI native'd it, native AI'd it, the whole thing.
Because they've been around since 2013. So they were pre-AI era. So they had the tools, they had a big user base.
Yep.
The AI represented an opportunity for them to enhance their product offering. And the way they did that, I think, is probably the most interesting thing about this segment.
Yep. So what I wanted to show you actually is the revenue growth. So give me a second over here. This is live, people.
Oh, I've got that. Well,
No, you don't have it.
I got the Claude stuff.
Hold on. Okay. Can you see this?
There it is.
So this is the revenue explosion. So you can see this started in 2019 with 3 million, growing, modestly, 2021, 2022, 67 million. Look at this jump from 67 million to 250 million. What happened in 2022 that made them jump so much? Well, ChatGPT launched in November of 2022. That's what happened. And that's why in 2023, they capitalized on that super hard and they jumped really hard. Congratulations to their executive team. They did it. Amazing. Great job. And then from there, they moved 2024 to 300 million. And then mid 2025, they're at 400 million. And as of September of 25, they are at 500 million. What happened in May 2025? Why they jumped so much? They bundled AI into everything. Before it was an add-on. So I guess they just got sick and tired of trying to convince people to hey, add AI to our tool. And instead they just bundle it all up, made sure the math made sense, which we'll talk about math. And then from there, look at this hockey stick. This is pretty impressive, right? So what is the lesson for builders here? They had the perfect timing and product-led viral growth. They do have amazing fans. Their customers are amazing fans. And I can see for somebody who is really big into organization and finding and all of that stuff, operations people will be all over it, right? Because it's literally saving time and money and whatnot. They solved the 10-tool chaos tax that cost teams money. It's a very clear ROI. They wrapped AI around that solution. Their industry average of customer acquisition cost is between 200 and 500, which I didn't know that. They're just under 100. So the lesson here for builders, those who are watching, is fix a painful workflow tax, move fast on AI trends, you're here, and let your users become your sales team. Anyway, so this is their revenue growth. So let's talk about do you have anything to say about this before I move to the expenses?
No, I think that so the 2022 boom to 2023 is interesting as well. And they did bundle ChatGPT features into that, but I think most of that growth was actually the word of mouth consolidation of workflows after COVID. You still have remote teams. Notion is a perfect tool for remote teams because all the information's in one place. They're already doing this stuff, these remote activities, Slack, Asana, all this stuff. Well, now we really need a tool because we're really all in on this, remote sort of operational mode. And this represented the life raft for them to kind of get out of that organizational hell. So I think that's what the initial growth is about. And then the way they've managed the AI growth is to me the most remarkable thing and the real lesson to be drawn from this.
Yeah, they're clearly paying attention. I mean, they jumped. ChatGPT is 3 years old. They jumped on that wagon, and they're like, "We are going. We're not bolting it on. We're getting this done, right?" And so now they're currently at 4 million seats of paying customers. They have 100 million worldwide users because there's a free version. Key customers are NVIDIA, Ramp, 50% of Fortune 500 companies. So their sales team is very busy. And 50% of YC, what is the Combinator? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Y Combinator.
Yeah, Y Combinator startups. They raised 343 million. Valuation is $10 billion. They just raised Series D. They've got about 800 employees, and they've been around since 2013. They're just capitalized on AI like crazy, and they saw the pain that needs to be solved. So anyway, that was interesting. So let's talk about
Pricing model.
let's talk about pricing. Yes. So pricing is, can you see this?
Yep.
So their business tier economics.
Well,
here
let's do the tiers first. So we got the free tier.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's free. You get 20 AI responses per month. So it's got a small cost for them. You know, they burn a few dollars on those people. That's their loss leader.
Oh, do you want to show the table then? Because we have.
Is there
it
a table for that?
Yeah. We have a table on on the slides. I can do this.
Let's see. Hold on. Looking. Here we go. Oh no.
Am I
Oh yeah,
sharing?
there we go. No. That's
sharing
nice. That's
Great.
nice. Oh,
I'm
you got it.
learning. I'm learning how to do this. Okay, great.
So yeah, free tier, boom. We got their plus tier. This is their $10 annual tier. This was one of two big booms that they got from their AI changes. So you get AI trial on that. But they wanted people to go from their $10 tier to their $20 tier. And so what they did was they included unlimited AI usage on their business tier for $20 a month. That tier exploded, and then they also have an enterprise tier above that for these large organizations. They figured out the extra tools that are game changers for them that they're willing to pay for without really thinking about it. And they've now got that tier. And to enhance that, even they've doubled down, and I think they doubled the size of their sales team. They're really going after this hard. They kind of figured out exactly their customer fit, and they're just headhunting these customers now. What is remarkable about this is that we have explored in previous weeks that offering these unlimited AI models is a real risk for a lot of these companies. So Claude had unlimited usage for a while under some of their tiers. They had to stop that right away because people were coding stuff, and code produces a ton of output, of potentially infinite size. And so you can't cap that. It's going to burn through a lot of tokens. You have to do something about that. Where Notion and also Fixer, who we explored in a previous week, where they win is because of the type of AI usage they promote. Fixer is analyzing emails and making suggestions about email copy. It's really simple.
Love it. Yeah.
Notion is doing similar stuff with internal documents, meeting notes, things like that. It's limited. They don't need a lot of compute. They don't have a lot of output. So they can offer unlimited usage for real basic stuff. It's not a big deal. Right. So this is what you really got to start really, honing in on this stuff and understanding the differences. If it's producing potentially infinite scale of output, you're in trouble with an unlimited seat pricing model or an unlimited usage pricing model.
Like Cursor.
If you know exactly what it's doing, it's crunching simple stuff, simple tasks, then you can have this type of pricing model. And as we are going to learn here for Notion, this has sort of been their competitive moat. They're able to offer unlimited AI usage within these, very clear guardrails, and that works for their customers.
So for Cursor, who tried this model, they
Cursor
learned they were burning millions and millions of dollars. So for this company, for Notion, it's working better, like what Chris said. And we're gonna look underneath the hood and see what does it look like operationally for them, right? So on the this is their, we talked about this. So let's look at the unit economics. So I actually like this one better. You can see this one, right?
There it is.
So for every business tier for $20 a month, where does the money go, right? This is my favorite part to understand, like how do they actually what actually
What's
happens?
their cost per user?
Right. And this is all based on the research that's been cited and this and this and this. So it's not like they're a private company, so it's not like it's in financials, but this is what I've been able to gather. So they're spending about 12.5% on AI and LLM tokens. So they do multi-model routing, GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, with prompt caching and batching. So they clearly spend a lot of thought process on that.
This would be the one thing I would ask if we got to interview somebody from Notion. This would be the question I want an answer to. How are you parsing queries to determine which model to use for that query? That is an underappreciated thing. I haven't seen anybody talking about that online, but this is obviously a big engineering initiative within Notion, and it's a thing that can save them a lot of money by choosing the right model for the task.
Yep. And then the infrastructure and hosting, we know the big winner in all of this is always going to be Amazon. Because they do have their AWS, storage and all of that, the what are they called? The servers and yada, yada. So they're spending about 12.5% on that. So the $5 is out. So there's 15 left. Sales and support, 10%. We talked about that. That's low because the product is good. That means the product is great and customers love it and they talk about it, right? So 10% on sales, which we'll talk about that in a second. They're doing it very right. And then look how much money they're spending on R&D, people, and overhead, right? They're in San Francisco. They've got about 800 employees, generously at $250,000 to $300,000 per person. They do a lot of, they have to have the frontier people obviously doing the innovation, development, and all of that stuff.
So the majority of their engineers are deployed for AI agent development.
They're spending a lot of money on that, and then they're left with $2. I would say, obviously, it's nothing to write home about. Like $2 on 20, it's not as heavy as Canva, for example, but they're still technically, profitable, which is kind of amazing for AI companies these days. That is bleeding cash all around. So the bundling genius, the unlimited AI sounds expensive, but business workflows naturally bound usage. Most teams don't hit the token limits that would kill margins. So they've calculated that, I'm assuming, and figured out how this works. They do multi-LLM hedge. They route between 3 providers, capture price drops instantly. That's another thing I want to know. Like, what is that marketplace looks like?
It's like a little auction thing. They figure out where it needs to go. But I'm sure they use type of request matters too.
Right.
Very interesting.
So when OpenAI cut their prices, margins expand automatically. What if they don't? You got to watch out and make sure you hedge I don't know.
It may not be that bad. Maybe they don't even check the request. They just check the price via API and they say, all right, it goes here.
I want to know. So scale efficiency, they've got paying customers. Obviously, we talked about that. So here's the risk. What if the usage explodes? Do you want to talk about this?
Well, I mean, so yeah, if more of their customers start using AI, like somebody figures out some workflow that goes viral on X and they say, hey, start doing this with Notion, and it happens to be a thing that chews through a lot of tokens, well, then, that changes their calculations a little bit because people are exceeding whatever the average limit was before. This means your margin is this, but if the limit goes to that, then your margin changes. That's always a potential risk. Also, if the models themselves start charging more per token, those changes could be significant enough to affect their bottom line to a degree where they have to make some changes. Obviously, those things are in play, but they've also got some fail safes working against that. They got their team routing to the cheapest requests. I'm sure they're putting a decent amount of engineering into that. There's always room. I'm sure they're not operating on like the absolute peak efficiency as far as prompt caching and also giving the AIs the minimum amount of information it needs to get the job done. Like, I feel like there's a lot of capture there. At least I'm discovering this through my work. I assume they're dealing with the same problems. So they've got some fail safes there. Also, it tells me this is a very good signal. When a company hires a ton of salespeople, they're either desperate or they've really nailed down exactly the people they want to go after.
Oh yeah.
And so they've doubled their sales team this year. I'm feeling pretty good about what they've figured out.
Didn't you hear they only have 50% of Fortune 500? They've got a Fortune 500. Yeah, they've got another 250 to add.
Easy money.
They
Send out the
are,
headhunters.
and I'm actually going to show you very quick on what the sales hiring for them looks like, because it's fascinating. Because I think this is the only company so far that has figured out. Well, I shouldn't say that, but out of everybody we looked at, they are the ones that are scaling with the sales team the way they are. I don't remember.
Yeah. This seems to be the most aggressive for sure.
Right. Yeah. And so, anything else on this?
No, I just think, the takeaways are the type of usage matters for what the pricing model has to be. And whether like you're looking at like a more stable operating environment or one where fluctuations are really going to affect the whole order of the system. Fixer and Notion are absolutely the best examples we've seen of nailing down exactly what you're trying to do, seeing how AI fits into this equation in a way that's sustainable. And nailing the product market fit. You love Fixer. You've been using it 2 weeks.
Yep. Oh, I love it.
I like you said, Notion has fans. The only reason I know about the company at all is because people are always like suggesting it or touting it on social media, and whatever.
Well, and then what they did is, because I asked this question yesterday when I was chatting with my AI co-pilot. I was like, you have Gemini, like I have Gemini, I have Google Drive, I have Google Docs. Why would I need Notion? Like, it's another thing that I'm introducing there, right? And I am clearly not a good customer for them because my company is, we're under 10 people, we're a small company. But I guess when you have multiple people dealing with that, like, it will be really good. So they figured out their ideal customer very well. They're going after them. They stopped charging separately for AI, and now they bundled it into everything, which is a very good strategic move for them because now it's just part of their solution overall. But here's the deal, like, what if Google comes up with something that's similar, right? What if Microsoft with their product comes up with something that's similar? So I don't know what's going to happen then, but I guess that's why they're growing so fast, is they're trying to dominate the market with being this niche product that solves a very specific need or solves the pain, right? So for those,
I feel like Google could kill Fixer and them. I feel like Microsoft could kill specifically Notion because Microsoft owns a lot of the stuff that they're tying together. But am I really confident either of those companies could pull off an initiative like that? I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Well, for sure. So anyway, this was interesting to watch how another company makes money. What did they? They are making money based on kind of the assumptions that we made here, and not a crazy amount of money. I mean, barely, but still, pretty good looking company for investors because they've got the path. They're taking off. They're growing. I like their trajectory, and we will be definitely watching them closely. Last thing I wanted to share real quick on this is their sales plan, which obviously I'm a sales recruiter, so I always find this fascinating to kind of watch. But look at their sales growth. They're doubling down enterprise. Enterprise seems to be the sexiest thing for companies to focus on. They currently have 220 sales team members.
It's probably the least churn.
Out of the 1,200 people that they have, currently they've got 8 to 10 sales roles. It's just the sales roles. I have a feeling they're hiring multiple people per role. So we don't know exactly how much are they adding, but their CEO said that they are doubling this year. They're doubling this year and likely going to double the sales team next year. Focus on enterprise deals and 90% of the revenue from team enterprise seats. So that's what they're focused on. And that's what they're doing. So if you're in sales looking for a role, this is the roles they've got open.
They got offices in San Francisco, New York, Dublin, and Munich.
Yeah.
And London.
Yeah. So this is the current jobs. And this is interesting for those that are building a product, to kind of look at. Anyway, on this note,
if you like selling easy things when you've already got a perfect product market fit.
Yeah, let's go. This is like a perfect sales story, how to do it right. Let's move on to before we do funding, I did want to bring up the surprise thing for the week that I just did right before this.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what this is, gang. Let's see.
Yeah. So
we got a question, right? What's the question?
So the question was, we keep seeing like LLMs, this week is winning, this one is winning. Oh my goodness, come on. So I was like, how do we figure out which LLM is the best? Like, like every week it keeps changing. So if you're watching the show, we talk about every week a different company, comes up with their own, the better version, the better version, the better version. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask all 4 of my AIs that I work with consistently, how do they rank top 5 LLM AI companies in the world? So I included everything, China, Europe. I wanted to kind of see what it is. And I wanted, obviously they're ranking themselves. And so I wanted to see like, how do they rank themselves as of December 2025? Because I want to start kind of paying attention to like who's winning the race, because it's such a close race. But anyway, is this something that you think will be interesting to you to kind of look at?
Well, I just think psychologically, these are fascinating results. First thing that stands out to me is ChatGPT not ranking XAI and considering the dispute between Altman and Elon.
ChatGPT. So first of all, that's exactly what Claude said after it looked, because I actually once I asked all of them. I asked Claude to incorporate the data together because I don't know why I trust Claude the most. I don't know why. And it giggled in Claude way of that ChatGPT, included Mistral versus XAI. So I thought that was funny.
And on what planet is Meta ahead of XAI?
Okay. I have some things about this. So let's see. We've got look at Claude, right? So Claude ranked OpenAI as number 1. And we'll talk about because I am still confused. What criteria do you use, right, for LLM to be ranked?
Yeah, what does it even mean?
So, and we'll talk about that, because it could be number of users, it could be like how do you rank, who's the best? It could be what do the coders think in terms of the coding challenges and like all this kind of benchmarks. And so we'll talk about that in a second, but look at so far, just like asking them generally, what are the top 5 LLMs in the world? Claude put himself as number 2, XAI is number 5, Meta is number 4. I have to look into Meta. Who uses Meta? I want to know, because I have not used it. I don't know what it is. I'm really curious.
I've literally never seen anybody use it except for to maybe talk about Llama a little bit.
Well, anyway, so there's that there. I got to check them out. So OpenAI was the winner between Claude and ChatGPT. Gemini put themselves as number 1, which I thought that was not very modest, but I guess they don't care. And then Gemini ranked Anthropic as number 2, and then OpenAI as number 3. I thought that was funny. ChatGPT did not include XAI at all, ranked themselves as number 1, Google number 2, Anthropic is number 3. Interesting. And then Grok had Anthropic as number 1, which Anthropic found very
I think Grok actually has it right.
So Grok has OpenAI. So you can see what's going on here. So Grok did include Meta. The only European company here is Mistral, and ChatGPT included that. And then the only Chinese company is on the list is DeepSeek, and then Gemini included that. So far, any surprising things for you other than Gemini tooting their own horn and ChatGPT completely ignoring XAI?
Nope. I mean, on average, OpenAI wins in this little experiment. Anthropic is second. Google DeepMind is third. So if you just average them all out, it's OpenAI, Anthropic, and then Google DeepMind. The variance is sort of comical. I think it depends on like your preferred type of usage. Your slant on this would probably be just a little bit different. I think it's fair though to say that the big 4 are Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, and X.
Yep.
To me, that's the big 4. I don't think that's been in question the whole time. But I do think we're going to be seeing a movement away from the big four and to using the open source models like the Chinese models, people running their own. So people buying up GPUs, like leasing them from these data centers and running their own models on them and training them. I think that's the real future of all this. I don't think these rankings matter because of that. Like the trend line to me points in that other direction. Like whatever.
Well, so I asked my Claude friend about, like what's the best way, like I need some systematic methodology of like, how do I evaluate LLMs every week for the show? Like who is the winner? And it told me about the lazy but effective approach. It says just track LMSYS Chatbot Arena leaderboard changes. And basically what it is, it's a real human voting that updates kind of real time. It's industry standard reference point, easy to explain, and tracks actual user preference, not synthetic benchmarks. So this is what it looks like. Can you see this?
Yep.
So this is a leaderboard, all right? So you can see the voting, the scores on the text and web development. Have you heard of this?
I have, but I only briefly looked at it because I kind of feel like I don't care about this data, but
well, it's
interesting.
It's interesting to me because here Gemini and Grok and Claude are kind of leading on, Claude and Gemini leading, and GPT for text is like way beyond.
Yeah.
And then
I will say anecdotally, the developers and SEOs, specifically those two professions that I have talked to, prefer Claude Opus above everything else. Anecdotal, but that's just what I'm seeing.
Well, I will be digging into that and I'll have a better segment next week, but I just wanted to jump on and see what other people are thinking. Like, how do you evaluate LLMs and what do you think makes something great? But I want to start tracking this because I have a feeling in a month or 2 or 3, we'll start seeing more Chinese companies appearing here because of the open source stuff and cleansing. I have a feeling that some of the companies like Notion and others, just like Cursor did, would start moving towards the cleansed models that are cheaper. So this is just going to be interesting to see and see what happens. So if you're watching this and you have a way of how you evaluate them, let us know because it's very fascinating and interesting to see all these 5 companies compete with each other.
I like that though, that it's broken down by usage type, text versus web dev.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that GPT doesn't rank higher for text.
Well, look
let's
at
see,
the
vision. Yeah, Gemini dominating vision. Not surprising. GPT's is effectively second place. That is interesting and actually occupying the next 4 spots. Go back up real quick. What was next to vision? Text to image. That's Gemini by a billion miles.
Image, Gemini.
Image Gemini by a billion miles. Not surprising. Search. Yep. Text to video. Text to video. Google winning that. I thought Sora would be winning that.
Right. So right now it looks like this is the winner overall. So Gemini 3, Grok 4.1, Claude. So anyway, you guys can read this. So I
got to do a Gemini implementation for page motor now.
This is probably why OpenAI is issuing code red alert because this is not looking good for
Somebody
them.
showed Sam the leaderboard.
Oh, I know, it's so sad. All right, well, fascinating stuff. I will have more on this for next week for sure, but this was fascinating to kind of start digging into it. And then let's move into the last but not least part of our
little funding roundup
program. Let's do the funding part.
Let's have some funding.
Huh?
Let's have some funding.
Do you want to pull it up or do you want me to do it?
I got it. I got this, but I feel like it's a little bit ahead of the game here. Hold it. Here we go. Boom. Come on, add to stage. Remove other media. Oh, remove.
Yay. All right.
This is from Claude.
This is my latest, creation. Again, I use a skill for this. Literally takes me, I don't know, 30 seconds now to do this. This is crazy and almost, kind of lazy, but at the same time, it's great. It looks great. All I have to do is just put the raw data in there and it's cranking. I learned from my mistake last week. I don't use Opus 4.5 for this and I actually like the outcome a lot better. So what happened last week with funding? Total AI funding was just over $3 billion, represented almost 43% from the total startup funding. and 90 AI companies received funding out of 185. I mean, half of the companies that are raising money are AI companies.
Pretty much every week too, since September.
I mean, how much money is out there? I guess there's a lot.
bit.
And so by the sector, there is out of were pure play AI, 42 companies, 27 were AI enabled software, IT were 17 companies, machine learning were 9 companies. So do you see on this? All right. Sorry, hold on a sec. So Europe kind of got close to US, but I think US is still recovering from Thanksgiving week. So we'll be back next week for sure. So
Also,
US,
the mega investment of the week was to Paris. So
US is still dominating big time, which is great. Robotics got over $1 billion. Europe is doing pretty good. And then early stage bets, which is great news for seed for funding your first round, $41 million average. If you have a great idea for something or not a good idea, you probably are going to raise some money. So that's great. The top 5 funded company, Brevo, was out of Paris. $500 million for AI-powered marketing automation platform, helping businesses manage customer relationships through intelligent email, SMS, and campaign optimization. I wonder what's different about it from anything else, but
I know. Well, $583 million says somebody thinks it is.
Yep. Black Forest Labs, next generation generative AI models for creating and transforming professional visual content from media and entertainment. That's Deutschland.
There's been a lot of bets in those, in basically video creation.
I think next week I'm gonna make a video creation company as our deep dive. So we'll see what happens.
I would love to know what call she did for those ads it's serving on mobile games. It's total AI slop. It's so interesting. I wonder what's going on there.
Jingwei Intelligent was number 3 out of China. A specialized AI chips optimized for machine learning workloads, powering autonomous vehicles and smart manufacturing systems. You know what's interesting to me about this? I feel like China is, because they have so many open source models. I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. They are really focused on hardware.
Yeah, it's all hardware, and they are so all in on autonomous electric vehicles. It's crazy. Like, I feel like that is their number one thing.
I feel like United States, like a lot of our companies, I mean, we are still stuck in the software stage. Meanwhile, China is in the hardware stage. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple months or a year or so. Like, what
Bezos made the hardware bet.
Yeah, I know, but overall, like, I mean, you see the companies are raising money that's more like software related.
I was going to mention how it's still very like close to like a native thought of AI. Like, it's all barely branching out, just little software things, barely branching out from like the core of what AI is, some software interaction. Whereas the hardware thing seems like a separate layer where you're applying AI to it. Hardware seems a little further away from the internal sphere of what AI truly is. It's interesting. So
well, I wonder if we're focusing on the right thing, right? So, and I guess we'll find out what the what's the difference, AI or like software, hardware. I don't know. Mujin out of Tokyo, AI-powered robotics systems that make industrial robots adaptable and intelligent for warehouse and factory automation. And number 5 is the only AI company out of the United States, Angle
Health.
Angle Health, San Francisco, AI-driven health insurance platform, simplifying employer-sponsored healthcare benefits with automated claims processing.
Thanks. I hate it. Worst company ever. Worst thing to actually do. Worst thing.
Hey, we say this, we don't.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But whatever. Well, I like seeing that the world is
paperwork navigators, all that is. It's gross.
The world is in the race this week, which is fun to watch that. And it looks like investors demand proof. 35 seed rounds happened, but the real money flowed to early stage companies with traction. Average deal size at Series A and B was 41 million. So VCs are writing bigger checks, but only for validated business models solving real enterprise problems. Anyway, great funding week. Do you have anything to say about that before we start wrapping this up with our key takeaways for the week?
No, but I think what you said about U.S. investment in AI is very interesting and true. It tends to be software focused, workflow focused, documents, team organization, that kind of thing. And China specifically, and even Japan with the robotics, like there seems to be a different modality of thinking and how we should apply AI and what we should apply AI to. But I think it kind of mirrors the trajectory of the U.S. We offloaded our manufacturing base starting in like the 70s and 80s and became essentially a corporate country.
Yeah.
And the AI that exists here speaks to that corporate country. And whereas Japan and China took on a bunch of the manufacturing and they're still operating in the manufacturing space. So it fits.
I just
Not
think
sure how I
that
feel about it.
while we're obsessing over tokens and LLMs and this and that, meanwhile, China is sitting on open source models and they're building something with it practically. So I don't know. That's just something is kind of, that feeling where something is not right. And I feel like
Right.
there's something
Yes.
going on. So
Something's off.
we will find out. What's your big takeaway from the week from what we learned today?
Big takeaway from the week is probably your expose on generating images and combining that, for me personally, combining that with like my own experience with the prompts and kind of seeing where these things run into problems and seeing your sophisticated prompt and the specific words it used. Because you used an AI to generate that, it knew the exact language to give it to get the results. And like you're getting real results. You have a workflow, a project that you can use over and over, and you're getting good results from it. Like that is a proven model. That's actually valuable, really valuable. So I think that's huge. And I also think I am thinking about vibe designing as a viable thing. And like, how can we take those results and make them usable?
Yeah.
But vibe coding, I'm super sour on vibe coding. I think that systems engineering is super complex and cannot be captured by AIs yet in a meaningful way.
It's pretty to look at, but what are you going to do? I mean, I'm glad you're doing something to figure out how to translate what you vibe code to something that you can actually use. But I mean, you gotta, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of a big challenge, engineering challenge for everybody. AI can do things, yes, but how do we make it useful? And like this comes up over and over again. I'm a broken record. I realize that. But how do we take what AI gives us and use it in a meaningful way? That's sort of the question of our time right now. That's what I'm focused on. But those are the takeaways. Like, your little workflow demonstration for the images is priceless. I think everybody can take that and run with it right now in their own ways. But those are the highlights.
I think thank you for saying this. I think what I'm learning from working practically with, I now have 4 models that I have my tabs open at any time. And I like kind of double checking the work and asking questions to different AIs to give me more of, I mean, they can't even agree what the top 5 are in the world. So it's been fun to kind of see like how they all think about certain things and who do I trust and who I don't trust. Like, but overall, what I am running into is that if I don't know something now, like with that image, I was like, I don't know how to start. And I just like, let's reverse engineer and ask AI for help. And just like co-piloting with AIs, that's been so fun. It's like a game now. So it's like playing the game and seeing the results and improving the results. Because every time I'm reiterating something, I was like, I ask, like, do I need to add it to your instructions so you can remember this next time? And Gemini is like, no, I got this. So like, it's a constant, like, you know how much I hate repeating myself twice when I have to repeat myself to the kids more than once.
You're telling me now for the first time.
I am the same way with the eyes. I don't want to repeat the same thing twice. Like, I'm like, can you please remember this? Come on.
You don't even type to the AI. You talk to it.
Oh, that's my other trick. I don't type anymore. I have Whisper and I just talk to AI. I don't. I'm lazy. I don't want to type. You are the typer. Anyway, which is.
I got a question for you. When you did, you said that when you did the Gemini, design comp, you had it GPT develop a prompt. Did you use the same prompt with Claude or a different one?
For what?
For the design comp you did with Claude that we preferred.
The website?
Yeah.
It was identical.
So you used the same prompt for both, but it was GPT generated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I used ChatGPT to generate the original prompt, but I used the same prompt for both Gemini and Claude.
Fascinating.
I
Okay.
don't even know why I used ChatGPT. I literally this week I felt like ChatGPT. I did not use ChatGPT at all, almost. But like that's a whole other thing because
Oof.
I kind of
Doghouse for Chat GPT.
I like Gemini. It's connected to my drive and it's great.
I know Gemini stock kind of gone up since we started doing the show. I got to be honest.
I'm working on another project for my company that I will talk about next week once I have some results. But I'm basically going to use Gemini and Claude as my co-pilots on optimizing operations in my company. And I'm going to share more about how I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I will talk about it next week.
Something to look forward to.
I know. Anyway, thanks for being here. I hope this is helpful. Let us know if you need more workflows. I am promising we're going to get more guests.
Well,
so
we got that image today because someone on X is like, hey, you know what I'd really want to see next week? Tell me how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I got to go and say thank you to that guy. So anyway,
Shout out Mike Seigers, longtime
and then
friend.
you guys wanted more visuals. Look up me. I'm the visuals queen. So this is kind of, I love that. I think
Designer Olga, who knew?
I don't like designing myself, but AIs, let's go. Anyway, thanks guys for being here. We will see you all next week with another episode.
Wait, X address we can get here. Before we go, I'm sharing our X stuff, and Olga shared a link to stream it live on X today. We'll be streaming on X from now on.
I have no idea if it worked. I'm gonna go check it out.
It says it did up in the top. So all right.
I hope it did. Bye guys. Have an
Gang,
amazing
thanks for being
weekend.
here. Next week you can watch us from wherever you want: LinkedIn, YouTube, or X.
Yeah.
Or on
Peace
the
out.
replay that we send out when we send out the notes. See you guys.
Bye. See ya.